أبنائي وبناتي طلاب صف تاسع متقدم صف عاشر عام، أهلا وسهلا بكم مع مستر عبدالغنى السوهاجي. ورجعنا لكم تاني يا أولاد في الترم الثاني إن شاء الله تعالى كتاب الكورس بوك. على بركة الله يا أولاد، ما ننساش نعمل لايك للفيديو، سبسكرايب للقناة، وانشروا لينك الفيديو يا أولاد، شجعونا نكمل معاكم المنهج إن شاء الله. يلا بينا نروح كتاب الليرنر. على بركة الله Grade 9 Advanced and 10 General Unit 5 Science Now and the Future. Okay يا أولاد, Lessons 1 and 2 Eco Living. Lesson 1 Key Vocabulary: Air turbulence, artificial, carbon footprint, carbon neutral, clean energy, desert, eco-friendly, fossil fuels, innovation, recycle, reduce, renewable energy research, sustainable, traditional, transport network, university, waste, wind tower, light well, natural. What do you know about living in a more environmentally friendly way? What changes can we make to our home? What about our city? How can we change cities so they do less damage to the environment? Video about مصدر city. اوكي يا اولاد, نسمع مع بعض.
About 20 miles outside Abu Dhabi, Masdar City is striving to be the greenest city on earth.
I think the city of the future is going to be based on people walking to where they live, to where they work, and to where they play.
And if you aren't walking, City Director Tony Mallow says you can take a magnetically controlled car wherever you need to go.
Welcome to Mustard City.
This is a little car?
Yeah, this is personal rapid transit. This is how you get around the city. It's driverless, it's electrical, and it's solar powered. It comes when you want it, and it takes you when you want to go, and you leave it alone.
So it's driverless?
Yes.
Navigating the city's 2.4 square miles is relatively easy.
This is a dream of what the future could be. But is it really going to happen? I mean, is this going to be anything more than a demo?
It's a model for urban development, but it's really sustainable because it's not only environmentally sustainable, socially and economically.
Fewer than 500 people live here. That falls far short of the original goal of 40,000 by next year, a goal set at the peak of the economic boom. Right now, about 1,200 people work here every day in buildings that are specially designed to help reduce water and energy consumption by as much as 40%, according to city officials.
You've learned over time with some of the successes and failures you've had, right, that zero emissions is a goal, but I mean, that's not reasonable at this point, right? It's just extremely low emissions, but there's some.
It's low emissions, but
Yes.
Zero emissions has been proved to be very, very difficult.
With more than 87,000 solar panels, the city produces its own electricity, offsetting 15,000 tons of carbon emissions a year. City engineers say that's the equivalent of taking about 3,300 cars off the road in Abu Dhabi. And walking around the city, innovation can be seen everywhere.
So you're looking at a wind tower, which is a traditional Arabic design to cool, right?
Yes, absolutely. So you take a traditional Arabic element on cooling, totally passive energy, totally sustainable, and then you use modern technology to make it even more efficient.
The Masdar Institute is also partnered with MIT to develop new renewable energy sources, like making jet fuel from the seed of a weed that grows here in the desert.
So this is obviously happening here.
Yes.
In the middle of the desert. Your ambition or what you're trying to prove is much bigger.
Absolutely. I mean, globalization is the key issue for the future, not only because cities are going to attack global warming. We have to understand how to build cities that are low carbon, and that's why Masdar City is such an important contribution to globalization and urbanization.
Okay, أولاد. Complete the summary of the text using the word in the box. Then listen again and check. Research. 6. Eco-friendly, clean, desert, traditional. 2008. 45. 17. Artificial. 2010. University. Carbon. Natural. Masdar City is located in the desert, 17 kilometers from Abu Dhabi. Work started on the city in 2008. The first 6 buildings were completed by 2010. The city is designed to be carbon neutral and to only use clean energy. The streets are kept cool by natural meter wind tower. This is a traditional design. There are large windows to use more natural light, and there are no cars in the city. There is a university in Masdar which carries out important research and development into eco-friendly living. Listen يا أولاد again. You are going to listen to a talk about Masdar City. Why would this be a nice place for people to walk? Give 2 reasons. عايزين سببين يا أولاد.
Masdar City is a city of the future. It's situated in the desert, 17 kilometers from Abu Dhabi. Work started on Masdar City in 2008. The plan was for the city to cover 6 square kilometers. The first 6 buildings were completed and occupied by 2010. The city was designed to be one of the world's first carbon-neutral urban developments, powered by clean energy. Even during the construction of the city, efforts were made to have as small a carbon footprint as possible. From the start, its goal was very clear: to set the world standard for sustainable development and a modern, eco-friendly way of life, to educate people about renewable energy and to break away from the use of fossil fuels. Waste in the city is reduced as much as possible. People are encouraged to reduce and recycle, and some materials are banned from the city. The streets and buildings were designed with practical, comfortable environments in mind. The designers combined the latest innovations in materials with traditional knowledge of how to manage the heat of the desert to reduce the need for air conditioning and heating. The streets are cooled by a 45-meter-high wind tower, which draws air down to bring in a cool breeze. This is based on a traditional Arabian design. The buildings are close together to create natural shade in the streets. Following the models of places such as Cairo and Muscat, the streets are also shorter. The buildings at the end of each street cause air turbulence, which pushes hot air upwards and allows cooler air in. The need for artificial light is reduced by the use of large windows and light wells in the roofs, which make more use of natural light. The city is fully pedestrianised, with no vehicles on the streets, and there's an underground transport network. At the city's university, the Masdar Institute of Science and Technology, students lead the way in research into and development of sustainable living. 300 students live and study here. The work done at Masdar has allowed people to learn about the challenges of creating an eco-friendly city and to transfer that knowledge to new building and planning projects across the UAE.
اوكي يا اولاد. Workbook. Science now and the future. Lesson 1 and 2. Eco-living. Maps these collocation. Carbon footprint, fossil fuel, transport network, wind tower, light well, air turbulence. Read and complete this extract from the presentation. Carbon footprint, clean energy, artificial, carbon neutral, light well, innovation, eco-friendly, air turbulence, wind tower. اوكي يا اولاد. When did work start on Masdar City? Work started on Masdar City in 2008. What kind of feel were the designers of Masdar City trying to stop using? The designers of Masdar City were trying to stop using fossil fuels. Why do you think some materials are banned from the city? What kind of material do you think these are? Some materials are banned from Masdar City because they damage the environment or they can't be recycled. These could be some plastics or paint with certain chemicals in. How are the old and new combined in the city? The city combines new innovation in eco-friendly living with traditional ways of living in the heart of the desert, in the heat of the desert. What does Masdar City copy from places like Cairo and Muscat, and why? Masdar City has shorter streets like Cairo and Muscat, as the air turbulence of building at the end of the street lets cool air in. How is the need for artificial light reduced? The need for artificial light is reduced by having large windows and light wells. Listen to question tags. question tag يا اولاد، السؤال المزيل. سموه المزيل ليه يا اولاد؟ عشان بيجي في اخر الكلام. هو عباره عن ايه يا اولاد؟ اثبات النفي ونفي الاثبات. اوكي يا اولاد، الغرض منه عايز انا اشوف انا كوريكت ولا لا، صحيح او لا، او عايز اجريمنت، موافقه يا اولاد. هاز تتحول الى هازن، هاف تبقى هافن، هافن تبقى هاف، دونت يو اتسترا. ايه عندنا تاني يا اولاد؟ عندنا expressions for talking, for taking turn in conversation. Do you know? What do you think? Oh, sorry. What were you saying? Please go ahead. تعالوا يا اولاد. Why Masdar City is an important project for the UAE. اوكي يا اولاد، نشوف يا اولاد question tag فيديو، tag question، اثبات النفي ونفي الاثبات.
Hello everyone, welcome to this new video lesson. Today we're gonna study about tag questions. Let's get started.
I think so.
So what are tag questions? Let's look at an example. He is Latin, isn't he? Isn't he? So tag questions are short questions we use at the end of a statement to ask if we are correct or to ask for agreement.
بنستخدمها في نهاية العبارة يا أولاد.
And how do we form tag questions? To make a tag question, we use an auxiliary verb like the auxiliary to be, to do, to have, or sometimes modal auxiliaries, plus a subject pronoun. Let's see examples.
Plus subject.
First, when the statement is positive, you make a negative tag question. An example is, Zlatan is a famous player, isn't he? So we first change the verb form is from positive to negative, isn't. And then we add the subject pronoun he. This is another example with the verb to be. He was a great player, wasn't he? So remember, we change again the verb form was from positive to negative wasn't plus the subject pronoun he. When the sentence has other regular verbs in the positive form, we use don't or doesn't to make the question tags. An example is, you like him, don't you? Don't you? Here is another example with a different verb. He plays football, doesn't he? Doesn't he? When the sentence has a verb in the past simple tense, we use didn't plus subject pronoun to make negative tag questions. An example is, he played for Barcelona, didn't he? Didn't he? But when the statement is negative, we make a positive tag question. An example is, Zlatan isn't French. Is he? Is he? So we change the auxiliary to be from negative to the positive form is, and then you add the subject pronoun he. This is another example. You weren't a fan of him, were you? Were you? So remember to change the auxiliary form from negative to the positive form, and then you add the subject pronoun. When the sentence has another regular verb, we use do or does to make positive tag questions about the present. An example is, he doesn't play basketball, does he? Does he? When the sentence has a verb in the simple past, we use did plus subject pronoun to make positive question tags. Just like in this example. He didn't play for Madrid, did he? Did he? When the sentence has a modal auxiliary in the positive form, we change the modal auxiliary into the negative form, just like in this example. Zlatan can score many goals, can't he? Can't he? But if the modal auxiliary is in the negative form, you change it into the positive form, and then you add the subject pronoun, just like in this example. He will not play for Madrid, will he? Will he? That's everything for.
Okay يا أولاد. Question tag. Listening and speaking. Okay يا أولاد. Listen to this conversation. Match the underlined phrases with items A, B, or C. مين هتكون question tag؟ مين هتكون opinion رأي؟ ومين هتكون question عادي؟ تعالوا يا أولاد نسمع. النهارده يا أولاد عندنا الاستماع كتير. نسمع native.
I've just read a really interesting article about Rashid Al-Nuaimi. Do you know about his work?
Yes, I do. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was just going to say, he's done so much to raise awareness about environmental issues and sustainability, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He encourages an eco-friendly way of life, and he follows the same lifestyle himself. I think that's really important.
So do I. He's a very inspiring man.
وبكده يا أولاد نكون قربنا ننهي الدرس الأول والثاني. Complete the conversation, use the word in the box. Don't you? Sorry. Things like that. Haven't we? What do you think? What? اوكي يا اولاد. وبكده يا اولاد نكون انهينا الدرس الاول والثاني، واستعنا يا اولاد بالوسائل الحديثه المتاحه. ان شاء الله لو عجبكم الفيديو يا اولاد اعملوا لايك وسبسكرايب للقناه. وان شاء الله الفيديوهات اللي جايه يا اولاد هيكون معانا الكتاب المدرسه نفسه. تمام يا اولاد. ونستعين برضو بوسائل مساعده يا اولاد من الزملاء. شكرا يا اولاد والى اللقاء، والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته. قولوا مقترحاتكم يا اولاد في التعليقات علشان انا استفيد منها ايجابي وسلبي. انشروا لينك الفيديو يا اولاد بحيث ان احنا يبقى في عدد مشاهدين يا اولاد نكمل معاهم ان شاء الله. شكرا يا اولاد والى اللقاء.